What's up, everybody? Tyson Ross. Let's talk Jets. Hope everybody's having an excellent weekend. The weather in New Jersey has been phenomenal. Beach weather all weekend, so get out and enjoy it. Only a couple weeks of summer left, which is crazy. Jets, Giants, Snoopy Bowl. A lot of anticipation, especially after last week with the Packer game. And overall, a bit disappointing, not going to lie. But it's a preseason, man. There's going to be games like this, even the regular season. But you can't put too much stock to this. You look at the injury report and everything else. But we can just assess what we see, and that's what we're going to do now. And starting offense played 2 series. They could run the ball. Membu had a struggle against Thibodeau, gave up a bad sack. Fields had an errant pass. I think the 1/3 of Garrett Wilson should have been called pass interference. They didn't. Overall, the starting, they can run the ball, but it wasn't, full ground and pound theory is great, but if your passing game is inept, it's not going to work. But again, it's very early to say that. Nothing out of the tight end group. So you look at the wide receivers, Aaron Smith, I think he had 2 catches, but also 2 drops. One of them is debatable, though. I think that could have been pass interference as well. The 2 young receivers that stood out were Brandon Smith and Quentin Skinner, who may be making a case for the team. But other than that, you walk away from the wide receiver group saying, do the Jets need more? We heard a lot about Josh Reynolds. We heard, and you didn't really see anything tonight, but they also didn't pass the ball a lot tonight. Games like this, I wish they'd try to open it up, but I'm wondering if they held back because the Giants' defensive front is just so good. I'm not really sure if maybe it's a vanilla game plan. I don't know about that. Tight end group, not a lot other than blocking. Running backs, you didn't have any big splash plays from really anybody in this game. Like Donovan Edwards had erupted last week, nothing this week. Isaiah Davis was out. The quarterbacks, Adrian Martinez looked all right. He had the interception. I like what I see out of Brady Cook, to be honest with you. But again, as a developmental project, I continue to say if Tyrod Taylor is going to be out week 1 or week 1 or longer, I would sign somebody else, dude. Like a veteran quarterback. I know everybody's saying Mike White, whatever. Like a guy that started games in the NFL and won games in the NFL and can play. I don't want to hand the ball to Adrian Martinez and say, here you go. Just good luck, kid. Not going to work for me. Defensively, before you look at the defense and the 478 yards they gave up, which is ridiculous, you look at all the guys that were out. Quinnen Williams, Sauce, Jermaine Johnson, Will McDonald. I mean, that's a big part of your defense there, so you can't get too discouraged. But you also got to think about where's your backup pass rush going to come from? What about your interior defensive linemen? Like, this is your chance to flourish and make an impact, and nobody did that. Nobody really stood out, in my opinion. Again, I watched it. I'm not sitting here overanalyzing the tape and everything, but looking at there, Dean Clark had a nice game where he had, I think it was like a tackle for loss, a sack, and an interception, and that's how you find your way on a roster. But overall, they had the blown play in the first quarter to Stiggers, and Cisco blew a play. It was an 80-yard pass. The Jets had, I think, 3 splash plays they gave up on defense. They couldn't set the edge. They couldn't get a rush. They couldn't tackle. They were tackling. It just kind of spiraled out of control at some points. So overall, it is what it is. I mean, this is a team that's young. They're learning. And now they had their glimpse of success last week. They kind of felt good about themselves. And now they got smacked in the mouth tonight where they're like, well, especially against a hometown rival. It's going to make all kinds of headlines tomorrow. So now it's how do you handle it? And Coach Glenn seems like he has a pretty good grasp of it. He said, listen, it's not acceptable, but we got to work on it. This is life, man. So they got, just keep working hard, grinding. Get the Eagles Friday night, and you see what happens. But I don't know, man. It's hard to get a feel for this team. We really don't know what's going to happen until week 1. Like every preseason, we go through the same roller coaster ride. This is good. This is bad. This is great. We look good. And then when week 1 happens, we have no idea what's going to go on. So for me, it's like you want to see a fundamentally sound football team that's fast, physical, and doesn't beat themselves. And if you can do that, you can beat any game, especially the Steeler game. So we'll see what happens here. Again, I'm disappointed, but I just can't overreact to a preseason game, man. It is what it is. Like, you felt good last week. Last week you enjoyed watching it. Tonight was a drag, man, because they were just getting bullied around for a good portion of the game, and it wasn't really that much fun to watch. So that's it. Talk to you guys later.